Hey there, guys. Tiani Perkins here, Wild Hypno Lady. And I am here today to answer one of the questions I just recently got, which was, why do I doubt myself when I know I'm a badass? and I really appreciated this question because there's two different types of self-doubt, right? There's one type of self-doubt where you don't even know that you're a badass. Everybody's telling you that, or maybe nobody's ever told you that, right? So you have no idea who your greatness, right? There's that type. And then there's the other type where you see yourself being a badass. You see how amazing you are. You see how incredible you are in a lot of circumstances in your life. And when you look at it logically, you're like, yeah, that's fucking dope. I'm amazing as shit, right? You know it. So it doesn't really matter which of these two that you are, because it's essentially the same issue that both of these types of women are experiencing. What you're experiencing is a belief that you are here and success or greatness is over here and you're nowhere near it. You're like way down here and it's way up here and you're not there. So even if this person who's like, I know I'm a badass, that person is still feeling like, even despite my badassness, there's still something stopping me from being up here, the greatness. Where in reality, both of the women are up here. They just can't see that. It's invisible to them. It's some type of blind spot that they're having. And the reason why you have these blind spots is actually because your definition of success, it sucks. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's the reason why you have it. What you deem to be greatness, what you deem to be successful, what you deem to be admirable, for some reason, it's never you. You never include your amazingness. Like if you were to spell out all of the things that make you amazing, that somehow wouldn't equal success. But for some reason, anybody else could probably write down what they like. You could write down somebody else's accomplishments, and for some reason, they would be successful, even if they've accomplished the same amount of stuff as you or less than, right? So it doesn't really make any sense, to be completely honest. But it's one of those things. So don't worry. First things first, you're not alone at all, right? We have all been there. We have all struggled with that. And there's so many other women experiencing that same thing right now. So no matter what you accomplish, you just keep feeling like it's eluding you. So you have this level of perfection in your mind that is unattainable by anybody else's standards. And yet you hold yourself to it. You hold your ideas of success to this. And when you fall short of perfection, you judge yourself harshly on it. You question yourself. You wonder, why can't I just be that? Whereas if you were to watch somebody else, somehow you would watch them and they they don't need to be perfect and you still see them as successful. So where is this coming from? What is happening? I recently did a video, another YouTube video on the word should and how should is the bane of your existence when it comes to perfectionism. If you have not watched that video, I will drop the link below. Please watch it because it will give you a really great insight on what you're doing today, right now. What you're doing is you're holding yourself to this standard of perfection that doesn't really exist. It's impossible to ever achieve it. And honestly, what ends up happening is that a lot of times for a lot of us high achieving women, the reason why we're so high achieving is actually because we're hoping to be able to reach that level of perfection, that level of perfection, that level of success that we've created in our minds as this ideal level of success. And so we continue to work hard and we think, okay, well, if I get my next degree, if I get my next certificate, if I get that promotion at my job, if I become an entrepreneur, if I save this much money into my savings account, then I will feel successful because I will have shown myself that it is possible for me to be that. I know I can do it. But the whole time, the reason why you even came up with that level, that definition of success, that definition of greatness in the first place was because you didn't quite feel like you fit the bill. You didn't believe that you were that. So you set up some goals to get you there, to get you to greatness, to get you to success. But we all know that happiness and fulfillment is an inside job. So no matter how many accomplishments you get, you're not gonna be able to reach it from the outside. No amount of success, no amount of having degrees, none of that stuff is going to matter. What is going to help you get there is internally accepting that you are great. And one thing that I definitely see a lot of women do when you're looking at your greatness is not just looking at your accomplishments and not just looking at, the cool things that you could put on your resume, but also taking into account your adversities. So I feel like we constantly downplay our adversity. What we'll do is we'll be like, yeah, but remember you had a learning disability for the first 3 years of your life. Or remember that you and your parents used to live in low income and they didn't even have access to A, B, and C. Remember you had A, B, and C. Remember you were in that really toxic relationship for all those years. And then you're like, yeah, but that shouldn't matter because, I'm this educated and I'm that, and I've done all this therapy and I've done these things. So, I've worked through all of that. It's almost like you discredit some of the obstacles that showed up along the way. You expect to be so much further for some crazy reason. You already created some crazy, ridiculous definition of success. But then on top of that, you then ignored whenever you had an obstacle. So like when you had obstacles, you fucking persevered. You did that. You overcame it. You did that. But you don't get credit for that for some reason. You don't get credit for it. If anybody else did, you would give them credit for it. But when you look at yourself in the mirror, you just brush it off like, oh, that was no big deal because for some weird reason, you just convinced yourself that that's not important. Like that's not part of the journey that you've been on. You've been on this journey, then it hasn't gone perfectly. So you're supposed to reach perfection. And all the while, your journey has been imperfect the whole time. Then you get here and you get all the accolades and you do all those things, and it's still not good enough, right? What the hell? So first things first, I really, really want you to stop discrediting not only your accomplishments. Yes, don't want to discredit how amazing you are and that you have the degrees and that you have the certificates and that you have this incredible willpower within you, right? To see something through. We don't want to discredit that, but we also really, really don't want to discredit the obstacles that you had to go through to get here. No matter if it's not the same. I mean, something I hear all the time is like, yeah, but there are people in these third world countries who are really struggling. How dare I complain? How dare I say, oh, my life was hard because my parents got a divorce when I was 12? That's nothing in the grand scheme of things. There's kids out there who can't eat. There's kids out there who have lost their parents and all types of things. And okay, my parents got a divorce. That's not a freaking big deal. But it was a big deal to you. And when you experienced it, it was a big deal. And it impacted you negatively, probably. And you had to learn how to navigate life differently and make more sense of things and deal with traumas and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe it's not as bad as somebody else's, but that does not mean that it didn't happen and that it cannot be counted as part of your journey. Please give yourself credit for what you've also achieved, not just scholastically, not just, career-wise, but also internally, emotionally. What have you overcome? That shit's important because you may not be as far as you wanted to be because there's some stuff that you had to personally deal with that some of these other people didn't have to deal with, okay? And also, maybe some of those people are lacking areas that you don't even know. You're like, man, they have it all. And deep down inside, they feel empty because they're like, wow, if anybody even knew, I don't even like my life. I'm married to the wrong person. I can feel that I'm married to the wrong person. I'm in the wrong job. I'm in whatever it is. But they do it because they believe they're supposed to do it. So they keep doing it. and you're looking at them with so much awe and happiness and excitement and envy sometimes. And yet, really, in reality, they're not even all that happy. So, yeah, maybe it's taking you a little bit longer to get to those specific milestones that they've gotten to. And that's okay, because when you get there, you're going to get there the time that you are meant to get there. And you will have those pieces. You will have the happiness. You will have the internal fulfillment, because by the time you get to this greatness and success, you'll have already understood that it came from within. So regardless of what accolades, regardless of how much money is in your bank, regardless of how, if you're married, if you're not married, if you got kids, if you don't have kids, regardless of what you think life should be looking like, you're going to know that you're doing the right thing and you're fucking amazing and you are that badass. So I'm going to drop some more of this stuff more and more. But the first thing I really, really want you guys to do is stop discrediting both your accomplishments and the things that you've overcome, your obstacles that you've overcome. Do not do that anymore. And I will see you in the next episode.